What's going on, everybody? This is Jose Betancourt from the Post Game Report podcast and talking about games.com. And here you're watching me play Black Ops 3 for the PlayStation 4. Now, as far as my preference in which system I should buy it, or you should buy it, it all comes down to, at least for me, how many people on my friends list are playing. On the Xbox One, not that many. On the PlayStation 4, I have more. I'm not going to say exactly what number. I'm not doing some type of scientific formula to measure the amount of people playing between friends list. But the facts are there. So that was my deciding factor. Plus, because there's a promotional deal between the PlayStation 4 and Activision, or Sony and Activision, you do get some perks as far as DLC is concerned. But that's not a huge selling point for me anyway. Actually, this is the first Call of Duty game I've bought in probably 4, maybe 5 years. As we all know, they come out yearly, so it's almost like you're purchasing Madden or some type of sports franchise. Now, Black Ops hasn't come out in quite some time, but you're going to get a Call of Duty game nearly every year. So, this is the first one that I went out and purchased. And quite frankly, I'm a bit surprised that I'm enjoying the single-player campaign. I've actually made an effort to play some multiplayer. Now, the multiplayer is not that much different than past Call of Duty games. You do have elements of that are very familiar to Titanfall, with the backpack jumps, climbing, running on walls, things of that sort. You're going to find some of that in Halo 5. I might actually do a Halo 5 video in a little while, so pay attention to that. And so you have very quick movements. Call of Duty, when it came to multiplayer, has always been known as an arcadey shooter because of the twitch movements. Is very reminiscent of the old school Quake games, Unreal Tournament, and things of that sort. Now, I'm not a huge Call of Duty fan, but as I stated, I saw some potential with the zombie mode, and I was able to play some zombie games, some co-op zombie games. Right now, it's like one level, and it has a 50s theme with some well-known actors doing the voiceovers. The characters look very similar to the actual voice actors, so I saw some hope with that, and I took a chance, and I went and purchased Black Ops 3, and as I said before, I'm a little surprised that I'm enjoying the single-player campaign. There's some sci-fi elements, of course, military elements. It's a military shooter. There seems to be some type of story with some conspiracy going on, not unlike most Call of Duty games, or for that fact, most military games. But it's enough to get me going. I finished most of the past Call of Duty campaign modes by I rented them. I knew that I was looking at about 4 to 5 hours of campaign, so I'm not assuming that this particular campaign in Black Ops 3 is going to be any less or any more as far as longevity for the story. But from a production standpoint, visually, it's definitely a next generation Call of Duty game. There are some really cool fight scenes, and just overall, it feels like a non-stop action movie, and I'm really surprised. If anybody, for those of you that know me, understand my stance on the Call of Duty franchise being a yearly event, you might be surprised at my positivity with Call of Duty. Now, when it comes to multiplayer, I've had situations where I was booted out of the servers. So there's a problem with that. I don't know if it's an ongoing thing, if it's going to get fixed, but there is an issue. And it was quite annoying. The other day I was having a really good game, which is a rarity, and I got booted out. So there's the danger of that occurring. But overall, I'm pretty satisfied with Black Ops 3. I definitely plan to play more co-op single-player campaign with some of the fellas. I was able to play with TG180 and Dio yesterday, members of the Post Game Report podcast, and it was cool. It was really cool to play 4-player co-op. And it certainly helps the story go along a lot faster in a higher difficulty setting. Now, regarding some more gaming news, Fallout 4, which I might do a video on that. Now, Fallout 4 is an enormous game, and so don't expect a review from me anytime soon, because I don't know when the hell I'm going to finish Fallout 4. It's one of those titles that will consume you. The Fallout franchise in the last 3 years has always been, not 3 years, but the last 3 Fallout games have occupied people's lives, especially Fallout 3 and now Fallout 4. Now, there was some debates on whether this was a truly next generation game. Now, gamers in general, the general population of gamers could care less about the fact that the file size is under 30 gigabytes, and therefore it must have been a last generation title, meaning it was meant for an Xbox 360 or a PlayStation 3. You know, people are just nitpicking everything nowadays. They cannot just enjoy what we have. We have a title, Fallout 4 from Bethesda, that when you look past the quote-unquote average visuals, you have yourself a deep gameplay experience that you could basically do whatever the hell you want. Now, as someone who has been gaming for most of my life, since 7 years old, I'm 43, as someone who's lived through all every console, every console generation, I can truly appreciate what's going on here. You have an open world where you could build, you can do anything you basically want. And on a home console, that is incredible. Usually these type of games were only available on PC. So people are out there nitpicking. Now, there are some lag issues when it comes to, not lag issues, but there's some frame rate issues I noticed on the PlayStation 4. They're a little worse on the Xbox One. I'm not going to get into all that. But it does get quite annoying. So, in that sense, like, some people are like, oh, how is this game getting perfect 10s? I can totally see where they're coming from. I'm not going to debate that. So there are some weird frame rate issues, that need to be ironed out on the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. I don't know about the PC. The PC, you can basically upgrade your PC into anything you want. So if you want a powerful gaming system, you can do so. So overall, the 2 hours that I played on Fallout 4, which is it's not even scratching the surface. But based on what I've played so far, I'm just not understanding where the critique is coming from when it comes to the visuals. Now, granted, certain non-playable characters, or most non-playable characters, don't look as crisp as some of the environments and the main character, and that's to be expected. You have a game that is truly enormous and open-ended. So you can do... That sounds really kinky. So you can do basically all you want. You can build weapons, you can build a fortress, build your own home. You can scour the apocalypse, this apocalypse land, and become a total badass. So people just don't appreciate what we're given, and we have ourselves some really phenomenal games. Now, talking about a game that came out recently, because the last few days, man, the last few weeks have been flooded with some really freaking awesome games. Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider came out on the Xbox 360 and Xbox One. And I'm hearing very positive things about Rise of the Tomb Raider. So I'm looking forward to playing that. It will come out on the PlayStation 4, possibly the PlayStation 3 and PC. That's going to come out at a later time, possibly a year from now. We're not sure. But regardless, if you're an Xbox One owner or you have an Xbox 360, Rise of the Tomb Raider is going to be a really good purchase. And with Black Friday around the corner, you probably could find it for a cheaper price, in case you want to wait. But from what I'm hearing, it's definitely a good game. So, as always, I want to thank you for viewing my videos. If you yourself picked up Black Ops 3, let me know what you feel. If you have Rise of the Tomb Raider, or Halo 5, Fallout 4, I mean, the list goes on. Let me know in the comment section what you feel about those particular video games. And if you haven't done so, my Twitter is @JoseVBeta. My podcast is Post Game Report. You can find that on iTunes. And subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. So until next time, I'm Jose Betancourt. Talk to you soon.
Tempest charge. Got it. Frag. Move.
Care package inbound. UAV inbound. Hostile HCXD in your AO. Another win for the Accord. RTB.
Only the strongest survive.